All right, we're back with part 2 of Kathleen Zellner's third motion to try and get relief for Steven Avery. In the first part, we went over the introduction, which would be the video uploaded right before this one. If you missed it, go back and give it a read. The motion is linked in the description below. It is 149 pages long. That's why I'm breaking up the videos so you can watch them in parts if you choose, or if you want, you can watch them all together because they are being uploaded at the same time. Now, this part is evidence supporting Mr. Avery's third post-conviction motion. Newly discovered evidence, new witnesses provide direct connection between Bobby Dassey and the Halbach murder and planting evidence to frame Steven Avery. Mr. Avery's new witness, Mr. Thomas Sawinski, contacted Steven Avery's current post-conviction counsel in December of 2020. Mr. Avery had already filed his appeal on October 11th, 2019. Mr. Sawinski stated that he had witnessed Bobby and one other individual, a bearded man, pushing Teresa Halbach's RAV4 onto the salvage yard in the early mornings of November 5th, 2005. Mr. Sawinski claimed that he had reported this information to the Manitowoc Sheriff's Office. What a shock that the Manitowoc Sheriff's Office would allegedly withhold information once again on Steven Avery. Could you imagine if they literally did the exact same thing twice? Because in the first go around, they received a call in like 1994, 1995, somewhere around there, and they didn't do anything till 2003. Just imagine that this guy did indeed call the sheriff's office, and they did indeed withhold that information one more time. Just unreal. Mr. Sawinski was a motor driver for Garnet newspapers and delivered papers to the Avery salvage yard in the early mornings of November 5th, 2005. Prior to delivering the newspapers to the salvage yard, he turned onto the Avery property and witnessed two individuals, a shirtless Bobby Dassey and an unidentified older male, suspiciously pushing a dark blue RAV4 down Avery Road towards the junkyard. The RAV4 did not have its lights on, and Mr. Sawinski drove past the two men, delivered the newspapers to the Avery mailbox, and then he turned around and drove back towards the exit. When he reached the RAV4, still over there, Bobby Dassey attempted to step in front of his car to block him from leaving the property. Mr. Sawinski came within 5 feet of Bobby Dassey, and his headlights were on Bobby during this entire time. Then Mr. Sawinski swerved into a shallow ditch to escape Bobby and exit the property. Mr. Sawinski states in his affidavit that he called out, "Paperboy, gotta go," because he was afraid for his safety. He further stated Bobby Dassey looked him in the eye and did not appear happy to see Mr. Sawinski there. After Mr. Sawinski learned that Teresa Halbach's car was found later in the day on November 5th, 2005, he realized the significance of what he had observed and immediately contacted the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office. Like, unbelievable that this exact same thing happened 2 times in a row with the same police department and likely the same police officers. Just absolutely bonkers. The Sawinski evidence provided by Mr. Sawinski to Mr. Avery's current post-conviction counsel is newly discovered evidence which provides the missing direct connection between Bobby Dassey and Halbach's murder, making him a Denny suspect. Mr. Avery did not have the Sawinski evidence before Mr. Sawinski came forward to Mr. Avery's current post-conviction counsel in April of 2021. Mr. Sawinski attempted to contact the Innocent Project and not Mr. Avery's trial defense counsel via email in 2016 regarding the evidence he had, to no avail, and had not previously provided it to Mr. Avery's counsel. Rather, the Sawinski evidence was reported to the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office by Mr. Sawinski, probably assuming that they would do the right thing. Clearly not. But the evidence was suppressed from Mr. Avery by the prosecution. Not the first time this has happened. Mr. Avery was not negligent in seeking the evidence. Neither Mr. Avery nor his counsel were on notice that Mr. Sawinski had any knowledge about Bobby's actions on November 5th, 2005. The evidence is material to issue in Mr. Avery's case. Most importantly, it is material for establishing Mr. Avery's defense. That is that a third party committed committed the crime. It is material for establishing the direct link to Bobby as a third-party Denny suspect and opening the door to reconsideration the CD as establishing a sexual motive for the murder. Additionally, Mr. Sawinski evidence is material to the evidence in the RAV4 being planted by Bobby Dassey, including Mr. Avery's blood and DNA. The RAV4 also contained the Halbach vehicle key and Halbach's electronic devices, which were discovered in Mr. Avery's bedroom and burn barrel, respectively. Furthermore, the Sawinski evidence is material to impeach Bobby's trial testimony that Ms. Halbach never left the Avery property and that she was last seen walking towards Mr. Avery's trailer. Bobby Dassey was the state's primary witness against Mr. Avery during his opening statement. Prosecutor Ken Kratz explicitly informed the jury of the significance of Bobby Dassey's punitive observations on the date of Halbach's disappearance. Alright, so that's the first part of the new evidence that she is introducing in this next motion. The next part is Bobby's motive to commit the murder of Teresa Halbach after the Denny requirements are now satisfied. That's what this video was about. There's a lot to unpack there, just an absolutely ton of information. And like I said a couple of times, it would be absolutely crazy if that sheriff's station, and likely the same sheriff's officers, or at least some of them, did the exact same thing they did in 1994 or 1995, and they did it again when Mr. Sawinski called them about Teresa Halbach's RAV4. Absolutely bonkers. What do you think? Let me know. Leave some comments below. And the next video, like I said, we'll be uploading right now. So if you're watching this, waiting to see part 3, stand by.